Okay, guys, so I just want to pop through for a few minutes and just talk briefly about how, for the most part, I'm not into the whole 100% law of attraction stuff and all of that, but for the most part, people would treat you the way you feel about yourself. Okay? People would treat you according to what's in you. Now, why do I say that? Because, like, I listen to some women talk about how society treats black women and about how black women are looked, um, how they're looked at by society and how they're treated, and how society goes on a Eurocentric type of beauty standard, and so black women have the least desirable beauty standards according to Eurocentric. But it's funny about that because here's the thing: there's a lot of European males that actually love the features of black women. So it's funny how the European beauty standard is one way on billboards and on TV, but they actually are very attracted to a lot of black women. Interesting. But anyway, I don't want to get into that too much. I was just wanting to say that you have to see yourself as society. You have to see yourself as the universe. Okay? And what I mean is that a lot of people treat black women the way. Now, I'm not saying that things just that every single thing that happens to a person is because of how they felt about themselves. Because now sometimes things happen and it doesn't have anything to do with you doing inner work. It doesn't have anything to do with your frequency. It doesn't have anything to do with it. But I'm gonna tell you something: a lot of what happens in your world, it does have a lot to do with vibration. It really does. It really does have a lot to do with attraction. It does. The reason why I'm saying that is because I've done so much freaking shadow work on myself, it's not funny. And I'm still doing it. And I see the changes. And you know why I see the changes? Because the more changes you make on yourself, the more changes you make in your mindset, you actually go into a new timeline. You actually go through parallel worlds, okay? And you can't hardly tell the difference because you still see the same people, but you'll see a difference in the way those people act. For example, right? I've gone through parallel worlds and parallel universes and all of that stuff. And one day I can see, like, I'm going to use a patient as an example, right? I saw a patient that never wanted to come out their room, just always sat on their bed, didn't want to do nothing. Even when you came to their room, they didn't want to do nothing. And this has been consistently for, like, I don't know, for the longest. And everybody else has said the same thing about this person. I want you to know the very next day, or maybe 2 days later, I see this person up walking around in the hallways, up in activities, helping, the other patients and all that stuff. Now, some people like to say, because they don't want to open up their mind to parallel universes, and that's fine with me because that's not my problem. But some people will say, well, maybe she just suddenly came around. No, she didn't suddenly come around after being in this place, this facility that long and staying in her room, and all of a sudden the next day she popping up walking around. No, ain't no medicine work that quick because she been like that for too doggone long, okay? That was me going through another parallel world, and I'm seeing a different version of that lady. That's what happened, okay? And I see a happier version of that lady, okay? She healthy, she walking around and everything. Okay, so she didn't all of a sudden just get better in less than 24 hours. I moved into a parallel world and I saw this version of her. That's what happened. And I'm seeing this with a lot of other people I come in contact. I'm seeing different versions of them. They were just one way 2 days ago, and all of a sudden they one way the next. Now, some people, no matter what parallel world you move into, they won't get better because it's not very decent versions of them. Okay? And eventually you'll get to a point where you might not ever see them again, that energy, because it's not any good versions of them, But, so I want to get back to what I'm talking about black women. Black women, and I'm just talking about some of the ones I listen to, on social media, and social media meaning just YouTube. Oh, I hope you guys can hear me. I just turned my face. But social media meaning like YouTube and stuff like that, because I don't look at Facebook and Instagram and all that stuff. But black women is the best way to win is to transform yourself. It's not a whole lot about interracial dating. It's not a whole lot about, competing with other groups of women, other groups, ethnicities of women. You cannot compete with them. Okay? And when I say you can't compete with them, I don't mean that you're not on their level. I think everybody has their own level. Why would you want to get on somebody else's level? Why don't you stay in your own lane? Why don't you stay in your own lane? Trying to compete with white women. See, when you try to compete with somebody else, and sometimes and they compete more. I'm be honest with you, white women compete more with black women than black women actually compete with white women. So people make it seem like black women are all insecure with their weaves and stuff, but I'm gonna tell you something. White women are far more competitive against black women than the other way around. Black women really don't compete against white women, but white women competing against them. White women are competing against them. Okay, so so that's what I'm saying. But the point is that either both sides in either other groups of women compete with black women too. But either way it goes, no matter who's doing the competing, whether it's a black woman doing the competing with white women, or whether it's a white woman doing the competing with black women, either way it goes, both sides, I'm so sorry guys, both sides are out of order. Both sides are out of order. No matter who's doing the competing, both sides are out of order. Because when you compete with somebody, then you trying to get into their lane. You got to stay in your lane. Why would you compete with a whole different ethnic group of people with their own culture? Okay, with their own soul path, with their own spiritual journey. These people, you're competing with somebody who has their own spiritual journey. Why would you compete with that? What are you trying to accomplish? Because now when you compete with somebody else, you take your mind off of your journey. You take your mind off of your soul mission to try to get into somebody else's lane. To me, that is a person who's completely disconnected from the divine. That is, I won't say they're disconnected from their higher self, because I learned the higher self is just higher versions of the ego. The higher self is all still ego. Yeah, you might reach a part of yourself that's more wiser, that might be more, that can see things a little more clearly, but at the same time, it's still a game, and it's still a part of the ego. So, but the divine is not, okay? The divine is not. And so you see people all over YouTube talking about connect with your higher self. You're connecting with another version of your ego. And that's why anytime I see something all over YouTube, just question it, because the powers that be, and when I say the powers that be, I'm not talking about just government and all that stuff. I'm not talking about the president. I'm talking about the real powers that be that's unseen. They will never want you to reach your highest potential. They'll never want that. Because once you reach your highest potential, Earth itself, the way Earth is right now, will completely be turned around. If they allow people to really encourage others to reach their divine self. Earth wouldn't be what it is, okay? It wouldn't be so much going on. They would completely change the way Earth is right now, okay? And so, so that's all I'm saying. But no, I was just listening to a woman talking about black women compared to other groups of women, and how society sees them. And another point I want to make is that what I said there earlier is that society, for the most part, sees black women the way black women see themselves. Here's why. Because for the most part, black women have allowed their men to go on the radio, to go online, to go on media and disparage them. Even when you had few black women who tried to come forward and say we cannot allow these guys to just denigrate us like this, there was still a way more black women that defended these guys and said these guys are oppressed. They oppressed by white supremacy, and they got the right to speak their mind. But the problem is, when they were speaking their mind, the only thing that came out their mouth was a itch and a hoe. If they were so oppressed by white society, why couldn't they talk about white society in most of their songs? Okay, most of their anger was towards the woman that gave birth to them. So who are they really mad at? Who do they feel like was really oppressing them? Okay, so what I'm saying is that These women have allowed themselves to be disparaged for so long. Okay, they do not hold their sons accountable for anything. These guys went on YouTube alone for 13 years to completely tear down black women and girls. But still nothing. You see black girls going missing. You see them getting raped. You see them getting brutalized. You see them getting chopped up. They going missing like I don't know how many of them go missing by the day, and you still see the fact that the people who are the guardians don't care. Okay, and so what I'm saying is that that's why society sees black women this way, because black women don't see themselves in a higher light for the most part. Because I'm gonna tell you something. When you have a group of black women who have done their shadow work, who have learned to love themselves, and let me tell you something about self-love. I didn't get no love from no mother figure. I didn't get no love from no father figure. Not during the life of these people, right? I didn't get no love. So when people talk about the experiences they've been through, love don't always have to come from another human being, because a lot of human beings aren't capable of giving love. They're just not capable of doing it. So the love I get don't need to come from no human, because humans are imperfect people. Humans are imperfect. Humans are wishy-washy. And so I had to learn that. Now you can't learn that overnight. That's the kind of stuff to take the shadow work. That's the kind of stuff that takes shadow work. To understand, no, you ain't getting no love from your mother. No, you didn't get no love from your brother. And stop listening to, because I hear other YouTubers doing this. Just my suggestion. Stop listening to other women who want to throw it in your face that you were abused, because they have a problem with black women, right? They have a problem with black women. And so they throw it in your face, and you know you're doing that. You can't. Your mama allowed you to get molested, and your mama cursed you out, and so that's why you're doing it. That's why you're fat, because you were raped. Stop listening to that stuff. You don't have to sit there and endure that mess. You're not going to sit there and make me feel bad because of what I went through. Now, granted, you might disagree with some stuff I might do. I don't know, just like I do disagree with anything other human beings do, right? But I ain't gonna sit there and listen to nobody just to tear me down because of something I done been through in life. And so, true enough, yeah, a lot of black women act that way because of how they came up and how they were so abused in their household. And some of them never make it out of it, and they become a pain in the butt because they never come out of that self-hate. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, a lot of us suffer with self-hate, and we had to learn to get that love from somewhere else that does not come from a human being. Even if you get it from a dog. Dogs are more consistent than human beings, okay? Don't look for no love from no human being, and for goodness sake, don't let nobody sit there and tear you down about you being molested and raped. Because the person that does this, that is so evil. You cannot like somebody. You can say you don't ever want to mess with them again. You can say you tired of black women, but to continue going on talking about how she was raped, how she was molested, how she was abused, and just tearing her down, that is hard. That's harsh. That is harsh. Okay, but I'm gonna get off of that. So what I'm saying is that people treat you, for the most part, okay, I'm not saying 100%, because people still are accountable. At some point have to be accountable for their actions too, right? Just like it's some stuff going on with the job where just another lady will not get her paperwork done for nothing in the world, right? Well, not only have I brought this up, but other people have brought this up to this lady too. So it gets to a point where it's not my frequency that's causing her not to do the paperwork so it can help everybody else out. Something is wrong with this particular person. So that's why I'm saying it's not 100% the way everybody treats you is not necessarily 100% your vibration. Sometimes it's the other person, something wrong with them. Okay? But what I am saying is that, and this is just from me doing so much darn shadow work, and you wouldn't believe how much I had to do, because I had so much witchcraft done on me since I was a child. You wouldn't know how many doggone death spirits I had to remove from me. Okay? And death spells. But so, the amount of self-love, time I spent trying to just get self-love is unimaginable. And that's why it's hard to listen to too many excuses unless you have the level of black magic on you like I have. It's hard to just accept too many excuses. But I worked hard because I just decided I don't want that life. I don't want to be You know, I want to be treated a certain way when I go into public. And so a lot of negative energy had to be removed. A lot of trauma had to be transmuted. A lot of stuff had to happen because you are the universe, right? You are the universe. You are society. So a lot of times the stuff that comes your way is indicative of what is indicative of things that have not been resolved. Issues, emotional pain, emotional trauma that has not been resolved. And I notice a lot of black women don't want to admit that they have emotional trauma, but that is stupid to me because everybody know the black women are the worst treated, they're the most disrespected. So how is it that this group of women, for the most part, don't deal with no emotional trauma? That's a lie. Now you might have one or two black women or a few black women that say they never dealt with that. That could be a fact, but for the most part, black women like to act like they got it all together, and that's a lie. You don't have to act like you got it all together, like you came and was born into this world perfect. Because what's happening is you still bring into your world what's inside of you. I don't care what you try to say out your mouth. What you bring into your world is what's pretty much inside of you. For the most part, I'll say 95%. Okay, for the most part. Okay, and the rest is, yeah, you have to allow other people to take responsibility. Oh, I hate people park like this. Okay, hold on a second, guys. Sorry about that. I'm just about to move my car and I'm making a bunch of noise because I don't... Hold on a second. Oh, she trying to turn around. That's what she doing. Let me... Hold on a second. She turning around. Okay. But, so yeah, you are the universe. You are society. So once a good number of black women, which is not going to happen, but you know, we're no longer waiting on that, but I'll upload another audio about that. The change is going to come whether a lot of black women want to change or not. The change is going to come. There's going to be a change of the energies, and those black women are just going to be where they are. Because the reason being is because we can't have any more generations of little black girls growing up with this kind of mindset. You cannot keep passing the generational curse. There's too many resources available. You wouldn't believe how much stuff, how many black magic spells I done broken. A lot of the self-love that I used for myself come from YouTube. It comes from meditation videos on YouTube. Literally, I have come a long way, and people who have known me like from even 2 years ago and see me now can tell that I done come a long way. And I didn't spend a dime because I didn't have the money. It came from YouTube meditations. It comes from YouTube. But see, YouTube, it can be good, it can be bad. If you want to spend your time looking at gossip channels and makeup, and nothing wrong with makeup, but if that's most of the time where you're spending your attention, then that's just what you're going to get out of it. Me, several hours of my day was spent on meditation, self-love videos. When I say self-love, I'm talking about those binaural beats, or isochronic beats, and energy, Reiki. All that stuff is on YouTube. And I'm going to tell you, it worked. It worked. And I didn't have to spend no money because it's hard to be spending $200-something for 30 minutes every doggone week, and you ain't hardly getting nowhere. I'm telling you this stuff, for me, it did me wonders. Now, I'm not going to talk nobody else how to do going to a psychologist because I'm just not going to do it, but I know what worked for me. Okay? And I noticed the changes in my outside world. I notice the changes in my outside world. Like I say, some people still got to take responsibility for their actions, but for the most part, you're not really attracting, I'll say this, I'm not attracting the negativity that I used to attract before, because I have sat in my shadow. I've sat in the darkness. I meditate in the darkness. I literally just dealt with just constantly deal with my shadow every single day. And so I'm able to pick up on stuff intuitively that I need to work on. And then when I work on it, I keep going up parallel worlds. I go to different timelines, and I'm introduced into a different type of universe. Parallel universes. So I'm going to end with that, saying that you are the universe. You are society. You are society. So to get back on what this person was talking about, how, you know, a black woman would treat black women at the bottom, and how people see black women. People see black women that way because, for the most part, that's how they treat themselves. Even when I made a commentary yesterday about these black boys that was harassing this young black girl in this school, And the black boy said to the teacher, said, why do you care? She's just a black girl. She's a black girl. Nobody cares about her. You see that? See, the way black women collectively have allowed themselves to be treated has caused an effect on little black girls. Okay, this little black girl probably didn't do anything to deserve that. But because black women collectively allowed themselves to be treated a certain way, then that is how that trickles down into younger generations, and they have to reap the benefits. They have to reap the repercussions of what other generations of black women have allowed. And that's why I made that audio yesterday about it's time to just cut that off, and it's going to be cut off in a very bad way, because it's time that type of energy needs to stop. That type of energy needs to stop. You know, that type of energy was created for that black girl to experience that. That energy was created by other black women who did not have any self-worth. And so that type of environment kind of was created for that little black girl. And the reason why, because that black girl might not understand anything about shadow work. That's a black girl in school who's just concentrating on her studies. So she don't know nothing about no shadow work. She don't know nothing about no darkness. She don't know nothing about sitting in the dark. She don't know about removing negative energy. She don't know nothing about no Reiki and energy work. She just going to school. And so because she don't understand those things, an environment was created for her and she was blindsided. Okay? So anyway, I done said so much. But I'm going to have to drive back, and I will talk to you soon.